Hey. Always like get this thing set properly. That's better. Good evening, guys. How are you all doing? Hope everyone's had a great week and is looking forward to the weekend. Hi, Anthony. We share the same name. Thanks for joining in. And today I'm going to be talking to my very good friend and brother, Abiodun Odukoya, an entrepreneur and a political-minded person. So today we're going to be all talking politics and obviously how it could help us move forward. He's online now. I can see him online, so I'm just going to add him. Let's see if I can get that done first. Add. So, what's wrong with this thing? I'm just going to try and add. Don't know why I can't add him. So, Abe, I can see you online, but I don't know why I'm having troubles accepting you. So if perhaps you might want to click on, if you could hear me, Abs, perhaps you want to click on the icon that says join this live. Yeah, okay, excellent. Yes, I've seen and accepted you now. Hi, Trendy. Yes, boss.
What's up, Mr. Tony?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Nice to see you today.
Yes, I can still. Thank you. 1 second. My dear wife just brought me a cup of coffee so that I don't fall asleep during the conversation. Thank you. Yes, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, my pleasure, bro.
Good to see you. Hope you've had a good evening thus far.
Yeah, I did. Thanks, and you?
Yeah, not too bad. I was caught up in traffic. As you can see, my computer is stuck on loading since like 5 days ago. 2 days ago. So I'm trying to sort that out.
Okay.
These Apple products, they're a nightmare once they begin their madness like this. So good to have you, guys.
Thank you, both.
Good to have Trendy's online as well, Trendy Williams.
Thank you for having me.
So, in a nutshell, I'm going to quickly talk a little bit about you, and then I'll give you the privilege to talk about yourself. They say talking about ourselves is what we Nigerians like to do. So I'm just going to try and fix my stand properly first. So yeah, obviously for people who don't, my wife joined as well. So kindly, please, as you feel the need to follow the lady concierge, that's my wife's. I'll get her to talk about her own business because if you go and say something wrong now, it's trouble. So I'll bring her in and she can go. She could expatiate on her own business. But yeah. So Abe, we've known each other for close to this is funny. It's close to about 2 to 3 decades, or just about. Yes, just about that amount of time. Hi, Trendy. Yeah, thanks for joining in. And Abbey has been a serial entrepreneur. I knew he was running. We used to have an off. That's it. We first of all used to have shops and offices beside each other because you were just round the corner from me, Abs, and I was on the
Yeah, I'm
other
John
side
Western.
of the road. Yes. And then obviously he went back to Nigeria. He had some hotels. He's done some hotels. And he's done fashion, and he's still doing fashion. Well, he's back into the fashion industry. But apart from that, I know there's some other businesses that you've engaged in, and you've done exceptionally well at it. But above all of
Thank you, Mr.
that,
Tony.
you're actually a political genius because you
Oh my God.
studied
What a
political
compliment.
science in uni. Maybe you're the kind of people that we need to be practicing in this political sphere in Nigeria, but for whatever reason, you're not. But you're actively conscious of all the political ups and downs and bad governance that's happening in Nigeria, and that's obviously what we would share our thoughts and ideas today. So you're welcome to the Tony Talk shows. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for accepting my invite. As I say, the program or the live is really about getting just average people like us to share our perspectives on the way forward for young people, obviously in Nigeria, and how we could sort of move ourselves through the views of others and perspectives of others and the country as a whole forward and represent ourselves in a better light. So to that effect, I bring people like Abe and other people in, not necessarily industry experts, because we've heard so much of industry from industry experts, and there's nothing that comes out. Everybody's just saying the same thing. So I think it's now time for us, just, you know, if we want to class ourselves as masses, to start having our say. And we have a platform, you know, however little it is, it will grow its ground. And we'll just use it to keep on spreading our own gospel for the right things that we want done eventually in our country. NBC can't sanction us, you know, as they're sanctioning all the other people. You know, we're not going to take bribes. We're not going to take handouts so that we could present anybody better. We're liberal, you know, we're indifferent, we've got views, and we're sharing our views, and that's what we do on these live talks. So thanks for everyone once again for joining in, and thanks to my guest, Abiodun Odukoya, and I'll get him at this point to introduce himself. Yes, boss, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tony. Let me start by expressing my profound gratitude for finding me worthy to invite you to this August show. And I pray and look forward for it to grow and be bigger than Larry King or whomever. So thank you for having me.
Amen.
Okay, for those that don't know me, my name is Abiodun Odukoya. My good friend Tony said something, and we Nigerians like to talk a lot about ourselves. But that is, when it comes to my case, that is exceptional. I don't actually like to talk about myself, but I'll just do a little bit of introduction so that you can get to know who I am. My name is Abiodun Odukoya. Tony referred to me as a serial entrepreneur. I'm grateful for that introduction and for that categorization. But more or less, I refer to myself as a serial failure when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I've done a lot of businesses and I've failed in a lot of them. But I'm grateful that the little ones that I've succeeded in, I've been able to keep them going to the best of my ability. So that is that for the introduction. Over to you, Mr. Tony.
Oh, okay. So you were, sorry, I was just pinning the comment. So you were saying you've done a number of businesses. Just tell us some of the businesses that you've done. And then you also said that you've not thrived as best as you possibly, well, if I put it in those words, not thrived as best as possible as you want to in certain businesses. So could you tell us some of the business that you struggled with and the ones that you haven't thrived in so much, and what lessons you've learned from those, you know, mistakes or steps to success, as I call them, that you as you've experienced them, or as it applies to you?
Okay, first and foremost, I started the first local newspaper in Nigeria around 1999 and 2000. It was called Surulere Chronicle. It was supposed to be a newspaper for the Surulere community, and it was a project that I invested a lot of money, a lot of energy, and resources on. Unfortunately, that failed. At the inception of GSM in Nigeria, I was one of the first agents for Econet. That was another business that I put in a lot of effort, but unfortunately, that too failed. And not too long ago, I invested in a third business in Nigeria, and unfortunately, things want to fail. You understand? But the good thing about all that is that I am not in any way packed up. I am grateful for the opportunity I have to do all these businesses. I'm grateful for the experiences, and I'm grateful for the preparation it has afforded me.
Excellent. So so thanks for that. So I wouldn't really say, in my own perspective, the way I look at things, I wouldn't really say those businesses, as I mean, you use the word fail.
Yeah.
In my own experience, I wouldn't really say fail. They're lessons, they're stepping stones to take you to the next level.
Thank you.
And it's also good at times to know when to stop things, to understand the market or the business that you're doing so much, to know when to get out. Because today you could rightfully say you're sitting on a different level of business now that you're thriving at. However, if you decided to still remain in those businesses which you now class as failed, you might not find yourself where you are now. So technically, what those things have done, as they've taught you things that are not working for you, you know, and it has enabled you to move forward. So that's my own perspective of businesses that don't work. And that lesson that I take out from them is what I apply to the new business that I'm doing, so that I don't make those mistakes. What lessons would you say that you've learned from those three, at least the Econet, the newspaper, especially because obviously we're in a social media space now, and I don't think the time that you were talking about, we were in the social media space. So especially the newspaper, what lessons do you think you've learned now that you're applying to your current business or to the media aspect of your current business that you're running?
Yeah, thank you. You see, actually the newspaper thingy.
Sorry, your volume is gone.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I had a call.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, much better now.
Okay, good. Like I was saying, the newspaper was the most major experience that I've had as an entrepreneur, because it was something that I was very optimistic about at the beginning. I thought it was something that was going to work. So I put in all my best. I put in a lot of resources, but I gained a lot of things from doing that. I was able to at least obtain the ISA number. If I need to start a newspaper in Nigeria today again, I don't need to go through the rigorous exercise of registration. You know, that's number one. Number two, I got to meet a lot of people in the process of doing that. I met a very, very good man, may so rest in perfect peace now, who was a speaker of Lagos And I later met his son, Mr. What's my good friend's name again? Alex Lunge. You must know Lunge. Yeah, I met his dad when I was doing the newspaper,
Okay.
and he was of great assistance to me, and he was somebody that I looked up to very much until he died. So it gave me the opportunity and the platform to meet a lot of people, and the little time we did it, I was able to express my political views, through the newspaper. So, and that enough was good enough for me. I mean, that alone was good enough.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. And I'm just going to share just somebody else seconding, and it's just a comment. It's from the Good Critic 2017. So I think you probably know him, the Good Critic 2017.
Oh, the guru. I know him. He's an architect.
Yeah, there you go.
He's the smartest guy I know.
There you go. So he goes,
Hello,
sorry to interject, if I may, quoting you. You didn't fail in those businesses as you mentored so many of us growing up in your businesses. I'm close to $1 billion just by learning from you. So there you go. So I would choose not to use those words fail again, like he's saying. I would choose to use the words lessons learned or ways that worked for me. And that's just my opinion. But obviously somebody else is seconding it. So you said, so moving forward, you said you met Lunge. We know him. Actually, I'm not sure if he's still in the fashion industry, but I knew him through his clothes as well. When he used to do the AL. Is that the same Lunge we're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. Alex Lunge. Yeah.
So unknown to me, I didn't know his dad was the Speaker of the House, but now I know.
His dad was very, very one of the best Nigerians.
Hey, excellent. I'll reach out to him, but I haven't spoken to him in a while. We see on social media, but we haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah.
If he watches this, I send my regards to him as well.
His dad was even writing an article for the newspaper then.
What newspaper was that?
The Surulere Chronicle, the newspaper I told you about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Surulere Chronicle. It was supposed to be a community newspaper. Even though we had the license to operate all over Nigeria, but we wanted to limit it to Surulere and maybe extend further later. But unfortunately, we didn't get to grow to that extent.
So what exactly was, if you have to mention just one obstacle that caused it not to carry on? Just one. I know there might be several, but one that stands out that you can remember.
Okay. Manpower, number one. That is a major problem in Nigeria. Manpower, I had staff that were, doing a lot of things. We were not working in consonance. You understand me? Yeah. While I was working to grow the business, they were working not to bring it down. Not let me use the word to bring it down, but they were working for their own pockets. But inadvertently, that was affecting the growth of the business.
So if looking at a business like a newspaper, which is analog, and in the digital age that we are now, and this will be the last question on that, I promise. If you had to do something different, operating the same scene, and you looked at the one you ran through sort of an analog phase, and now that we're in the digital sphere, do you think it would have been more successful in the digital sphere as opposed to doing it in that analog era where you said manpower was a deficiency?
Yeah, definitely, because don't forget that the analog process was very much cash demanding. You understand me? If it was now, I would be spending more expending more resources than cash, than money, You understand me? And I think if you are very determined to do something and you have the resources to put it through, it will be easier. But when you are talking about money, you are talking about resources, you are talking about every other thing put together, then it becomes more difficult. So definitely it will be easier if I was doing it now.
Okay. Okay, I'll leave it there. So we might
Thank
come
you.
back. We might come back and visit that later on.
It's all right. I'm all yours today, boss. I'm all yours.
Huh?
I'm all yours.
Okay, so I was saying, you said you met Lunge, A.L. Lunge, and then his dad was the speaker.
No, not Lunge, his dad. I met his dad before meeting him.
Oh, you met his dad before meeting him?
Yeah, so I met his dad in the process of doing the newspaper.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. So him now turning out to be the speaker, I'm not sure if it's or if it's Lagos State Assembly or the National Assembly, but
no, his dad was the speaker of Lagos State when Lateef Jakonde was the governor.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. We were very young then. So we
very young.
We were still enjoying.
I mentioned that.
Then.
I mentioned that just for you to understand the opportunity the newspaper gave me. Meeting somebody like that,
absolutely,
and for him
at a young
age, agree to be writing for the newspaper free of charge, pro bono.
Excellent. So
apart from many other things that he did for me.
So excellent. So that leads me into the next question that I wanted to ask. You being a graduate of political science, and then meeting someone who was well embedded in the political scene, why is it that you did not practice your sort of degree, or what is it that stopped you from carrying on further on? Because you must have a level of political, because to my understanding, there are certain courses in Nigeria that your parents can force you to go and read. Political science is not one of them. unless your parent is a politician or has interest in that area. So obviously going through all the years of university, why is it you chose not to sort of practice your craft?
Let me digress a little. You see, when I was in part 1, there was nothing my mom did not do to make me to change from political science to law. Right. Because to her it was like, what are you doing this about law for? Right. Exactly. Because to her, political science was half law. Why don't you just go for the full course? You understand? Because I grew up under a man that does so much. My dad, who was a very big politician. He was the national vice chairman of MPN when Akinwumi was the chairman. So I fell in love with politics then, and with all modesty, I revere humanity. I would have loved to serve, but unfortunately, we are from a part of the world where politics is different. And that really disinterests me from politics. The way we play politics in the parts of the world that we are from is not interesting to me at all. Because I think politics is supposed to be an issue of ideology. You understand me? It does not make us enemies. We are not on the same page ideologically.
Okay, so if I pull you on that, if you say politics is the issue of ideology, and I always just like to ask these questions so that we could unearth what is really inside people. Do you understand? It's not like I'm not trying to really get.
It's all right.
If politics is an ideology, and then you say, well, in your perspective or in your own words, and then you say the way we do politics in Nigeria is different, but yet you still graduated from an institution that taught Nigerian politics. What is it that is different in what you learned from what is practiced, or what you felt was being practiced? What's the sort of disparities in because if it's an ideology and we're practicing an ideology that's slightly different from what you perceive, I'm sure our curriculum is based on what the government are doing. So if they're teaching you what the government are doing, would it have been right to say somewhere along the line you would have been questioning your lecturer that, oh, but the way I see it is slightly different from how, was there a disparity in between what you were being taught and what you perceived and what you visibly could see being practiced?
Okay, you see, the disparity is between political science as a course,
right,
and politics
as a practice,
as an art. You understand me? That is where the disparity is. It's not between what I was taught in school and what is being played. It is really and truly between political science and politics itself. Political science is more like it's a course of this social science. You understand me? It's about the science of the society. You learn a lot of things from political science.
Okay.
It is not majorly about the act of voting or being voted for. You understand me? It is political science is very wide. I refer to myself with my little education that I'm a social scientist because I learned political science. I'm not a politician, you understand me? So that is where the disparity is. Not between what I was taught in school and actual politics itself.
So I appreciate that answer because I didn't read political science, but for me, and I would like to put some people in my boat at this point. I would think a lot of people always think, oh, political science is always about the governance of the society and not about
it's part of it, but not majorly.
Not majorly.
You see, political science is a combination of philosophy, sociology, economics, and even mathematics, because you have to be statistical rather as a political scientist. You understand me? You must understand the elements of statistics because it's going to be very helpful to you in every prediction and the rest of it.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so thanks for that clarification. At least now I know. So at every point in my show, I always realize that people are more superior to me. So and I appreciate.
No,
that.
Don't say that.
I always appreciate that because you learn something new every day. So in that respect, then, do you have any political biases or political affiliations? Since you have a very sort of direct perspective, or vague, I shouldn't say, it's not even vague, but a very obvious perspective of what you think the governance of the society should be. Do you have any sort of affiliations or biases towards who's ruling better or who's not ruling better, or You
see, I'm going to be sincere with you. I am sympathetic, and I'm a PDP sympathizer.
Okay.
You understand me? Even though I'm not a PDP member, even though a lot of people refer to me as a member of PDP, because most forum, I do my best to make people to understand the populist politics that is being played by APC. You understand me? A lot of Nigerians, I don't want to use the word that came to my mind because some people might feel they might not like it. But the truth of the matter is, you see, a lot we Nigerians have as much intelligent as everything as we are very gullible and very acceptable of propaganda. And that is one area that APC is very good at. In as much as I don't agree with a lot of things that PDP have done in the past or they are doing now. You understand me? But I'm also not very happy with the way our people are being misled. You understand? Because, okay, let us take Buhari, for instance. With what Buhari have done to Nigeria and have done in Nigeria, I don't think he deserved to be president of Nigeria in any way anymore. If it was not because he was repackaged, he was repackaged, he was laundered, and was presented to Nigerians again. And Unfortunately, people accepted him like, oh, the Messiah has come. And see what he has turned Nigeria into.
I see what you mean by, yeah. I see what you mean. I understand what you mean by Nigerians are gullible, and then you're so. In that respect, does that? So if you were to choose a political party out of what it is now, which one would you lean more towards, or would you say it is better to just eradicate those two and form new ones?
You see, I'm a very pragmatic person. You understand me? Because, I mean, if you are saying eradicate the two parties, where do you want to start from?
Yeah.
The best opportunity we had to have formed two-party system in Nigeria with a very solid system was when Babangida came up with the SDP and the NRC parties. You know, it was a very, very good project that could have taken Nigeria far, because these were parties that were not funded by money back. You understand me? They had their secretariat, everything good for them. Two-party system, which I believe, still believe, is most ideal for Nigerian system. You understand me? So saying that we should eradicate these parties is like,
I'm
you
not.
know,
Yeah,
we are joking.
Totally impossible to eradicate. I mean, those two.
Thank you. So you see, let us work with what we have.
I was saying,
You understand me?
Yeah.
To be able to get to where we want to get to.
Do you think those two parties could lead us to the promised land?
I always tell people something. Nigeria is a very great country. What Nigeria needs to develop and to meet up with most nations in the world is within Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Nigeria is a very dynamic nation. Forget about everything that happened. You understand me? If Nigeria could get good leaders today, trust me, within a very short time, Nigeria will get it right.
Okay, so if we come on to that leadership, do you think the Nigerian leaders from generation past, at least 6 decades, the easiest way to say is that they failed the masses?
Definitely.
And why is that?
Selfishness, stupidity. I don't listen. If out of 20 million people, you are chosen to be the #1 person, you became the governor of your state, I think all you need to do is to serve God and to serve the people. And if you are fortunate to be the president of like 200 million people, I don't think you need any other thing in the world in life.
Okay, but what do you? And I know it's a difficult question, but I just want to see what your views are. What if we've had close to about maybe 10 that I could really collect different leaders? Why is it that all of them technically do the same thing? Like there's really been no change in all of them, whether it's military, or whether it's civilian. Why is it that it just seems like corruption is one, lack of amenities is 2, poor health, unemployment, everything is just permanent.
Vindictiveness.
Yeah, it's permanent in every form of leadership that has taken the helm of power in the country. What do you think is the problem? Why these and even if we're talking about tribalism or the division down geographical layers, people that have led have been from different sort of geographical areas in Nigeria. Why is it that they all seem at the end of the day to do the same thing and not bring the country forward in almost 6 decades?
You see, with all sincerity, I think Nigerians need to be grateful to Obasanjo. To me, I think Obasanjo tried. You know, it was not like he was a very good leader, but amongst his peers or contemporaries, I think he's still the best. Because if you look at the situation Nigeria was before he became the president, during the time of Abacha, Nigeria was like totally on the ground, and he was able to bring Nigeria up. And I think what happened between them, that could have been continuous. But I think what happened was because for whatever reasons that he brought Yaradua up, I think that was where we got it wrong. Because from that point to when Buhari came, we were having accidental leaders. You understand me? People that were not prepared to rule. And I don't even think Buhari himself was not prepared to rule. For the 30 years that he left the reign of power, before he came back, I don't think he wrote an article. You understand me? Nigeria is not a country that you can rule if you are not vast. You have to be vast and you have to be ready to rule Nigeria. So I don't think the leadership issue is as big as we are taking it. You understand me? We've just been very unfortunate. You understand me? We've been very unfortunate because of the political composition of Nigeria. You understand me? Nigerian is composed in a way that we need the northerners to rule Nigeria. And unfortunately, and very unfortunately for Nigeria, most of the determinants of Nigerian leaders are Almondiris. Because when they say they have 15 million votes from the north, trust me, 10 million out of those votes are from Almondiris. And if you've ever been to the north, if you know this Almondiris, you will understand where I'm coming from.
But that's exactly how the division of Nigeria was actually made in my from history.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. For the north.
Unfortunately.
And they have seemed to sort of capitalize on that aspect. If there's one thing that they train themselves to be, is to be leaders. And that's why it's difficult to whether they have education or they don't have no education, or they're cow herders or not, they still try and be leaders, and they still push as many what's the word I'm trying to use? They push as many, I can't even find the right word, but they push as many candidates forward, and they ultimately seem to be able to take the helm of power through however much they do it, whether it's rigging the election or so. But what is it that we in the South were doing wrong? Because obviously in a country as vast as you clearly said as Nigeria, and the population of the South and the East almost equal to that of the North, why is it that through the constitutional electoral process we cannot sort of vote our own candidates in? Is there an element of something dodgy going on from the votes that are coming in from the North, or why?
I think the major problem is the mistrust between the Southerners, the Westerners and the Southerners. If these two people can come together, you understand me? You see, most of the times that I've spoken about Nigeria, a lot of people have misunderstood my belief as being tribalistic. But like I said earlier, I'm a pragmatic person. This is not about tribalism. You understand me? It is about the reality on ground. I believe we have more resources managers in southern part and the western part of Nigeria than the northern part of Nigeria. You understand me? And
I'm sorry to cut. Your reception is bad, though. Your words are coming in half and half, and then your picture is fuzzing up.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about now? Is it better?
Yeah, better now. Yeah.
Okay. So did you get the last thing I said, or you want me to?
No, yeah, carry on. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So as I was saying, I think the problem is the East and the West, they need to come together. And they need to come together with some, there are a lot of good people all over Nigeria, west, south, north. You understand me? And they need to come together with people that have the interest of Nigeria at heart. You understand me? I read something some few days ago that when Buhari was the president of Nigeria, or he was the head of state then, and there was a post in OAU, the Organization of African Unity. And there were two candidates, a Nigerian and another gentleman from the Niger Republic. That Buhari voted for the man from the Niger Republic and left his own person, his own countryman, to become the whatever OAU at that point in time. And that was something that had never happened before then and not after. You can understand, because you see, Nigeria as a nation is not really a nation from the real interpretation of
100%. What a nation is supposed to
nationalism.
be. Yeah.
You understand what I'm telling you? Because most people have the allegiance, most of us, we have allegiance to our regions. I can tell you today, I've said it many times, people have argued with me, but I don't need to be told that Buhari's allegiance is to the Fulani
definitely
section, not to the totality of Nigeria as a country. You understand what I'm telling you? And when we have a leader that his allegiance is to a section of the country, and in this case now, not only to a section of the country, but don't forget that there's an extension of that race to other parts of African countries like the Niger Republic, Mali, and the rest of it.
Absolutely.
You understand? So, it is, I don't know, it is a big problem, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, and just in addition to what I've always said that when the British came and they tied all these tribes together, they knew. I think the British are very smart people. They knew at one point Nigeria is not going to work. It was just how long it would take for it to disintegrate that has, well, how long it's taken for it to disintegrate that's really surprised them. Because you can't put a bunch of people together who have so much diversity and expect there to be unity in there. I know they say diversity and unity, but it's not in a country of 200 million people with 350 different ethnic languages. It's totally impossible. And in that divisive line, or that division, they gave so much power to the northern region. And it was technically them saying, this power we're giving you, and this massive geographical space that we're giving you, plus the link, as you clearly said, to extension, or to areas of extension like the Niger Republic, or the other areas that border those Fulani tribes. It was impossible for the southern region and the eastern region to thrive, and it would just have always taken a matter of time before we get to this stage that we're in now. However, we're here now, and we've as a whole, I think from my own little knowledge of how I look at things, I think is more, even though the East are saying, or some parts of the East are saying, they want to go on Biafra, I think it's more the South and part of the southwest, east, southeast. Those are the people that are really holding Nigeria together, because left to the northern side of things, they're happy because they're in the helm of leadership anyway. They're happy to just go about with their business and know that they would always. But in this aspect, then it brings me to that area of if Nigeria, this argument about the whole restructuring, because it just led to there, even though we said we'll talk about that later. So would restructuring work in your own perspective then?
Definitely, 100%. Let us forget about the complexity of that word, restructuring. You understand me? And let us look at it from a layman's perspective. Nigeria is what? A federal republic. You understand me? And to my own little knowledge, as a student of government in secondary school, a federation is a concentration of different units of governance. You understand me? Nigeria is a federation. We do not need a central that is too powerful. The mistake the Northerners are making is that they believe that by restructuring Nigeria, they are going to lose from the oil and the rest of it. Excuse me. But the mistake they are making is they do not even realize their potential. The North is described as the basket of the nation. That is where most of the food we eat come from. You understand me? And any society or any group of people that hold the food, they hold the power. You understand? If Nigeria, if there can be restructuring of Nigeria, you understand me, that, you know, every state, I'm not even talking about regions now, because that will be too much concentration of power. If every state can develop according to their own ability, trust me, Nigeria will be great. Nigeria, look at Lagos State now. Lagos State is claimed to be the 5th biggest economy in Africa. Imagine if Lagos State can produce its own power, its own powers in electricity, its own security, its own the rest of it. You can see how rapidly Lagos State will develop. And the same thing will go for Kano. The same thing will go for even Yobe and the rest of them. But unfortunately, these people are just too stuck up. They don't even know what is right and what is wrong. And unfortunately, the politicians that were even supposed to tutor them, those that are knowledgeable enough to tutor them, because of what they are getting, you understand what they are getting from the government, they are not even able to do that. And that is why Nigeria is the way it is. If Nigeria can be restructured today, it will be beneficial to everybody, not only to one region, not only to the north, to the south, or to the east, but the whole of Nigeria. There will be so much development that, you understand me, Nigeria will meet up with a lot of big nations.
Okay, so if we're looking at this restructuring that you're talking about, and you said take away the word, the word restructuring as it is, or not looking at the word itself, are we talking about dividing the constitution, dividing the nation back into a constitution that makes things available for the whole country, or you're talking about just dividing states into areas of the resources that they manage? So, like, you know, the areas that manage, you mentioned the North being a food basket. So, you know, okay, we're doing geographical divisions down those lines. The North would be the food basket. The Southeast would be the oil producing. The West would be the resource, people resources, or what more are you? What are we looking for? Divisions down the geographical lines, or you're looking at a total constitutional change of like the whole 36 states to break it down to smaller states? Because as we know, some of these states are not functioning because they haven't got any resources to function on, and a lot of them end up, you know, depending on federal allocations. And if that doesn't come, then, you know, they're at the masses of the center, which obviously is a problem with some of these emergeries as well. So what are we actually rescheduling? That's the word I was actually looking for, rescheduling. Is it the states, the constitution, or the resources?
Okay, see, I'm not talking about division in any way. You said something about diversity, and I strongly agree with you. There's so much power in diversity. You understand me? But there is power in diversity when there is equality. You understand me? The kind of restructuring I believe in is for Nigeria to practice true federalism, decentralization of power. You understand me? So the power at the center will be less attractive, and everybody will go back to their states to want to develop their states. So when you want to go to the federal level, when you want to go to Abuja, you know that it's not like you are going there to be sharing any money. You are going there to represent the nation in your own capacity. You understand me? Because every state will be managing their own resources and they will be paying tax to the federal government
But that's
of
exactly
Nigeria.
what my question was. If a state hasn't got no resources to manage, how are they supposed to maintain or sustain?
Tony, wherever there is land and there are people, there is money. Trust me. That is another layman's understanding of economics.
Okay.
Anywhere there are people and there is land, there are money. Okay, look at England. What resources do we have in England? Apart from maybe Scotland having petrol and the rest of it.
Hmm. Yeah, but
You understand what I'm saying?
They spread their resources. You know, is a functioning economy and is a functioning land. Nigeria is not such a functioning economy. That's why I was just trying to dig a little bit more deeper. Nigeria is not a function.
Okay, let me tell you. You see, I schooled in the north and I served in the north. So I've been around the north. I didn't go to uni. I went to secondary school and primary school in the north, and I served in the north. I've lived in Kaduna. I've lived in Castina. I served in Castina, and I've been to most of the northern states. You understand me? You see the amount of lands that are in these places. You understand me? Trust me. If Nigeria is restructured, most of these lands will be used for farming.
Yeah, but if
Agriculture before
it's docile,
petroleum, agriculture was the main source of Nigerian income. And agriculture can still be the major. There are many big economies in the world today that the source of their income is agriculture. So therefore, if Nigeria is restructured, the countries the states that don't have resources will definitely find something to do that will bring income to them.
Okay, so would you say that? So in terms, that's what I meant. That's why I divided it into like sort of resources, constitutional restructuring. Would you say that for that to be able to take place effectively, we would have to reduce the number of states? Because those times when
definitely, because let me explain something to you again. Most of these states, you understand me, were formed by the military government, by the northern military guys, military generals, just for them to get federal allocation to the states. There are states in Nigeria, some of these states don't even have enough people as much as some local governments. So maybe some of these states need to amalgamate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree on that, because I realized as you clearly said, most of those states were formed by the military government, and you can't have a federal government creating federal states, you know, just so that they could get resources to that place. Because every time they do that, then they put those states in a position where, even though they're sending them federal allocation, once that dries up and the state hasn't got no resources that they could push out, then they can't fund themselves. And obviously we get into that situation that we're in now, which then is the situation that has literally trickled down into the recent unrest that we've seen now, because people are frustrated. There's been unemployment, people, you know, police are brutalizing people, SARS are, you know, and obviously you have people in a region or a state, and there's nothing for them to aspire to. There's no jobs, but as you clearly said, you graduated in an area, you served in an area, but a lot of people, they graduate, there's no jobs, there's no money, there's no income. You know, the little kind of trades they try and do. They have people come, or the so-called people in uniform come and sort of, you know, just harass them or brutalize them or ill-treat them, which obviously led to this EndSars recent unrest. So what's your perspective on this EndSars? Like, I mean, the whole perspective, and then the government response, and possibly what they could have done differently.
I think we should start from what has been, or what was my experience with Nigerian police.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You see, in as much as I've been a victim of police brutality in Nigeria, in as much as I dislike a lot of things our police people do, the fact remains. I've told you one thing, I'm a very pragmatic person, and there's something they call negative capability, and that is the ability to view one issue from more than one perspective. You understand me? So I'm not going to say because I've been a victim of police brutality. I think the problem, are you there? I think the problem with Nigerian police, I think the problem with Nigerian police is not as much about the police, but as much about the system. The police force of any society is the reflection of that society. These people are not from Ghana, they are not from Congo, they are Nigerians. If you see the way Nigerian police are being trained, the process they go through to be trained, then you understand why they are the way they are. You cannot, there is something they say that a bad-tempered man cannot break in a good-tempered horse. You understand me? There's no way you can go through such training and be civil in any way. It is almost impossible. You understand me? You train people.
Sorry, do you think this training, because I've had this conversation, and I'm sorry to interject, but do you think that this training is a systematic way of the center, of ensuring that the police are enslaved so that they could easily use them on the masses as they wish and as they wish?
I think the problem, I think it is not a systematic issue, but it is an issue of corruption.
Okay.
Because the federal government will allocate money to the police departments or the police commission or whatever they are called. You understand me? But you see this money before from the ministry, even from the legislators that are in police, what do they have in that? The Senate and House of Rep.
Yeah.
These subcommittees. The legislators in the police committee, before they approve the budget, there's a certain amount that must go to them.
Mm.
When the money gets to the Ministry of Police Affairs, there's another money that must drop there. Before it gets to the IG's office, the more the money trickles down, the more it gets depleted.
Mm.
You understand what I'm telling you? So by the time that the money is supposed to go to negotiate police station, it gets to negotiate police station. It's not even afford to buy it. So it is a matter of systematic corruption, but not a deliberate or systematic
way of
plan to use the police as an instrument against the people. Yeah.
Okay. So you were saying, sorry, yes. So you were saying about the EndSars, your experience with them.
Yeah, I've had bad experiences with Nigerian police. I've been beaten more than once. I am highly opinionated, you understand me, and nobody can shut me up. So I've had a lot of issues with Nigerian police. I've been treated very badly, you understand me, but with that, I still believe that it was because they were not properly trained and properly catered for. It is a good excuse, even though it is a bad one. It is a good excuse for them to be the way they are.
Okay. Okay, so let me just pull you on that a little bit. So Nigerian politicians, they're well catered for. They have all, as you clearly said, there's so much money trickling down. A senator gets how many millions every month? Why is it that they're so corrupt? Now, putting that in mind, is there an argument that if the police were properly trained and well maintained and, you know, what can I say, paid well, they won't be corrupt? Is there an argument? Isn't that corruption in the mind really of every sort of Nigerian, as opposed to regardless of what training you undergo?
Okay, you see, I will still refer to pragmatism again. Let me quickly explain something to you. Can you hear me? Because I'm having a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Sorry,
wait. I'll
let me
wait till
just
that
hang up.
call goes because I'm having a beep here as well.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, good. You see, like I was saying, that I will still come back to pragmatism. You see, the problem
is huge. Trust me, it is very, very huge. Okay, you see the politicians that we are blaming. As a matter of fact, if you really understand the way politics is being played in Nigeria, you won't blame them as much. You understand me? Because we have a society that believes in what they feed on at the moment. If you are a politician and you are doing a lot of projects in your neighborhood, you understand me, and you are not distributing money, nobody is seeing those projects. And in politics, you need a lot of money. You see, a lot of people compare Nigeria to, let's say, America, whatever. You understand me? But what they don't seem to understand is that in these countries that they make reference to, when you come out as a candidate, people contribute money for you to execute your candidacy. You understand me? But we are in a system whereby you come out as a candidate, people are expecting you to give them money. Where do you get this money to give them? You have to be able to steal the money. That is number one. Number two, we are not the kind of people that appreciate good service. You serve your people. The moment you leave that post, you understand me, you have become nobody. You have become the enemy of everybody. So, due to insecurity, when people are in position of power, they want to be able to steal as much money as they can just to secure their future. So the problem with Nigeria is, I don't know.
So that argument,
it requires scientific approach.
So that argument, that's
for
what
it
I was
to be
saying.
solved.
That argument there, that if a and this is just my perspective, that's why I asked that. I think because corruption is literally embedded through people's mindset in Nigeria, regardless if a police officer is well trained, well maintained, paid well, if he doesn't have the mindset that I'm out there to do service to my nation, to help and protect every individual life, because corruption is systemic and it's just flowing through the blood of most people in Nigeria, he's still going to be corrupt, regardless of whether when do police officers ever stop saying give me 10, 20 naira, 100 naira to Okada drivers when they end their shift, even if they picked up maybe 50,000 naira that day and it's 1 o'clock and the shift is ending at 5.
Tony,
they will still carry on.
You are speaking hypothetically.
But
you understand me? No, you see, these people have not been given a different opportunity.
Okay.
You see, when people tell me that the major problem of Nigeria is corruption, I always disagree with them. the major problem of Nigeria is not corruption. We have a lot of Nigerians that are out of the country that are doing very, very well. I have a schoolmate that I went to secondary school with. I went to Adeola Otola College with him, Victor Agunbiade. He was just being decorated by the American Navy, whatever, for good conduct. I don't know if you read about it.
Yeah.
The gentleman was my classmate in secondary school.
Wow.
We grew up together in Ijebu, country boys. You understand what I'm telling you? And see what he was able to do. If he was in Nigeria, it might maybe, maybe it might not be like that. You see, when people are underpaid, you understand me? When people are underpaid, are you listening? Yeah, when people are underpaid, you understand me, it brings out the worst in them. You see, we live in a society where if you want to buy a house today, Tony, people like you that have good credit, you want to buy a house today, all you need to do is to look for the house that you are interested in and you know that I can afford to pay the mortgage. And bam, you become a landlord, you become a homeowner. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, to be a homeowner, you have to steal. And don't forget that owning a home in Nigeria, it is a necessity, it is a thing of prestige. You understand me? So it is something that everybody wants. And it is something that as much as everybody wants it, it is not available to everybody. You lose your job, you get an employment benefit. There are too many opportunities. So if you have all these opportunities, why do you want to be corrupt?
But it still speaks. It still doesn't, and I agree with you, but only to an extent, because it still doesn't speak for why even those who are paid well in the police force are still corrupt. Why judges recently, the Chief Justice was a couple of years ago was tried for corruption. Police officers, DPOs, all these people, they're constantly, I mean, hypothetically or allegedly, Magu, boss of EFCC, tried for corruption. So it still doesn't, what's this guy that recently just absconded? Myra,
Myra,
you know.
Myra.
Yeah, so it doesn't address the fact that if to whom much is given, in that regards, much is expected. Like integrity is expected,
Tony,
sincerity is expected.
Nobody. I mean, don't let me say nobody, but very, very few people are adequately paid in Nigeria, and the Nigerian police force is exclusive. They are not paid. I don't know if you are aware of their salaries.
Well, I am, but I am. I'm very much aware of it. But I think because the people at the helm are corrupt and they are paid well. I don't understand how paying the people at a lower tier would change it. If at the top, because I think that the mindset, and it's just my opinion, the mindset is bang on to be corrupt out, to get, as you clearly said, to get more at whatever level that's of my career that I'm in. Because I don't understand. I really don't understand it. Why should a politician be corrupt? Why would a senator be corrupt? You collect close to 12 million. I've
explained to you pragmatically why they are corrupt. They need money to play politics. Where are they going to make that money from? You understand me? Unfortunately, we have electorates.
They're getting federal allocations.
It's not enough. Listen, do you know how much it will cost you to be the governor of Lagos State? Campaign money alone.
But they have people who bankroll them as well. And they promise them opportunities. They promise them opportunities and contracts when they get into office. You
see, one of the major problems of Nigeria is that we have not actually sat down and scientifically looked at our problems and also scientifically look at solutions to them. You understand me? We treat our issues like, let us just, from the periphery, let me put it that way. You understand? You see, the problem with Nigeria is, to me, it is beyond corruption. Because you see, the corruption has become part of us. Take it or leave it. You understand me? I think what we need to do is to focus on growing the country, growing the economy. You understand what I'm telling you? Because everybody is corrupt. There is no place that mention the word integrity as much as Nigeria. And when these people talk about integrity, I laugh at them. Because to me, Nigeria is a country that you just give somebody maybe bribe, or you just saw him taking bribe, and the next minute is condemning other people for taking bribes. He's referring to himself as a man of integrity. Everybody is a man of integrity in Nigeria. You see our politicians, I don't want to be mentioning it. They will come and say PDP is corrupt, Jonathan is corrupt. You understand me? And I will look at myself, sir, are you not corrupt, sir? Are you guys not in the same basket? So that is the problem. We are not facing the fact, and unfortunately,
but even if I agree with you on that respect, then, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, that means it's impossible to grow the economy, because if, according to my reading, close to 300 or 400 billion of just oil revenue, USD obviously, has been squandered in the last 60 years in Nigeria by leaders. Just 400 billion USD squandered when there was an oil boom, when the barrels were at 150 or so, all through the years. Even when the Iraq-Iran war Iraq war was on for 16 years straight, we were like the 3rd largest supplier of oils, and all the revenue squandered. Now we're in recession, 2nd recession in 5 years. It's impossible to grow the economy when there's such, and as you clearly said, corruption in, or corruption is running pandemic, if I could use that word, in our leadership.
Can I quickly respond to that?
Because you use the word grow the economy, focus on growing the economy. So I'm thinking, how could we
Can I quickly respond to that?
Yes, please.
Okay, let us Lagos State as an example. You understand me? In as much as you are not accusing anybody of corruption. Do you want to tell me there's no corruption in Lagos State?
Well, yes.
Okay, and see, let me continue. See what Lagos State have been able.
I'm trying to answer cautiously. Yeah.
See what Lagos State have been able to achieve within the past 20 years. From maybe the number 46 to whatever biggest economy in Africa, to the 5th economy in Africa. You understand me? And like I said earlier, in as much as you are not accusing anybody of corruption, you understand? But Lagos State have been able to achieve that with whatever quote unquote you want to call it. You see, there is one thing that I believe in, and that is politics and corruption are inseparable. You can't separate both of them. You understand? You cannot play politics without being corrupt.
I agree.
One of the greatest political thinkers, you understand me, defined politics as a struggle of who gets what, when, and how. You understand me? If you're in politics, you are struggling to get something. You want to win. For you to have the desire to struggle for that, you will do anything to get it. That is human nature. You can't take that away. There is corruption everywhere. There is no way you can practice politics without corruption. It is the level and the style of corruption that differ. There is as much corruption in American politics, in the politics of United Kingdom, and as much in Nigerian politics. To me, our problem is not corruption. We need people that understand to govern. You understand me? We need people that understand to govern, because if you know how to govern, you can govern your people, govern them very well, but at the same time, enrich yourself.
So, but even though I agree with you to an extent, I still want to just ask a few more questions. Isn't so you mentioned the politics in that. Okay, let's assume that politics is a game of corruption. Let's just even assume like that. And there's corruption, because as you clearly said, politics is a game of how you want to win, when, how, and I can't remember the who, when, and how.
Yeah, according to ROD last week.
Yeah. Okay. All these countries that you've mentioned, America, France, UK, they're societies where there's a level of accountability. They've got a system that holds every politician to a certain level of accountability. They've got authorities, they've got a working constitution or federal laws that could, you know, highlight inconsistencies or highlight corruption, and they follow the process through. So even when you're corrupt you have to be very strategically corrupt, because you know the system will fish you out. In Nigeria, where, assuming they're practicing the same definition of corruption, who, when, and how, but there's a system that does not hold a politician accountable and allows them to run riot on the finances or in terms of being corrupt without being held to account, without, you know, being pulled, without being saying you have to return that, or without even, worst case scenario, going to jail for it. Isn't it that it simply means Nigeria soon will just be due to disintegration? Because you cannot constantly have people just, you know, extracting the resources, extracting all the economic resources of a country and putting it into their pocket. And again, it goes back to that phrase you use, build the economy, expect the country to grow, because there's no one to hold you accountable. And even when we say we have a constitution that could hold you accountable, you manipulate the constitution at will when you feel pleased to. Isn't it that eventually, you know, our worst fears would come upon us?
Yeah, I understand your fear and your concern. You understand me? But don't forget that the resources of Nigeria for how many years now, since independence, and lately, about maybe 30, and mostly about 30 years ago, have been seriously squandered and stolen. And Nigeria still stands as a country. You understand me? You see, the power of a nation is enormous. You understand me? People will come, they will steal, they will go, but trust me, there will still be more for them, for the ones coming to steal. So I'm not in any way condoning corruption. I prefer Nigeria was corrupt too. You understand me? Maybe I wouldn't have moved back, and I wouldn't have even left in the first instance. You understand me? I have invested so much in that economy, Tony. You understand? With all modesty, I've invested so much resources that sometimes I think that I sit down and think to myself that maybe if I've invested these resources back, here in UK or any part of the Western world, instead of taking it to Nigeria, maybe I would have been better off. You understand me? So don't misunderstand me. And I've never in any way, you understand, gotten any federal government contracts or whatever, or even state or local government contracts. And I've never eaten anything from any politician. I have few politicians like only you understand me. I'm praying for them to get to the position. Yeah. Maybe from there I can partake in the...
Yeah. See, that's the mindset we don't want, because we're the leaders of tomorrow. We can't be having that mindset.
No, that was a joke. Definitely, that was a joke. My friend is not even going there to do anything bad anyway. So, but you see, the truth of the matter is, I've been emphasizing this word, pragmatism, and I think that is what we need to do in Nigeria. We need to be pragmatic. people we are. This is where we are. This is the situation. How do we move beyond it? How do we move forward? You understand me? Instead of just trying to condemn one another. Well, the country is in a bad state as it is, to me. You understand me? I moved from here back to Nigeria in 2010. You understand me? I moved back here maybe 10 years after. And I know what I saw, what I went through, and, you know, what
Hey.
scared me to leave about Nigeria. So I understand what I'm saying, and I feel you, I understand you. But you see, we all emphasize on corruption, corruption, corruption. But tell me who is not corrupt in Nigeria. So do we want to go and bring somebody from Ghana to come and rule us? No, I think what we need in Nigeria is people that understand to govern. And that is the luck, that is the fortune Lagos State have now.
Okay,
Lagos State.
let me ask you one quick question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because is the problem of Nigeria, if you have to take one out of the two, think about it properly, is Nigeria's major problem, and the question goes off of what I said, that UK, they hold people accountable, if you want to do corrupt, if you're corrupt, you know, is the problem of Nigeria the corrupt people or the system that allows them to be corrupt?
Okay. You see, that takes me back to a very good professor that I knew a long time ago. There was a test he gave his students, and it goes like this. What makes the society? Is it the man? Or is it the man that makes the society? Or is it the society that makes the man?
But
You understand me?
you can't use the question to ask that question. I know you're trying to
You see, I think the system is the problem. You understand me? You said something that people are more straightforward here because there are a lot of deterrents. You understand me? That, you know, if I do this, there's a system that can. You understand me? And I mean that is a very good one. And that was the same thing I was telling people when Buhari came in and they are going to bust some judges. They are doing this, they are doing that. And I told them, listen, personally, I prefer the kind of system Jonathan was using. You understand me? Because you see, to correct corruption in Nigeria, it has to be systematic. It is not a matter of a good brother of mine just working. It's not a matter of of force. You understand what I'm telling you? Because there's no way you want to do this, you want to go about it. You understand me? That you will not be vindictive. That you will, because listen, there was a time I watched the former chairman of APC, you know, saying that at the campaign rally, when he was saying that if you join us, your sins will be forgiven. Is that how to fight corruption? Should it be sectional? You see, the way they fight corruption in Nigeria is more persecutional. You understand me? It is not, that is not the way. I think the best way to fight corruption, like you've rightly described, is through the system. It is the system that is in the best position to fight corruption. It is not by jailing people, by doing this, by saying that. No.
So, but that's where, yeah, I agree with you. But that's where the problem is, because we have a constitution that is constantly manipulated. We have a police force that is incapable and is used as instruments of oppression. So, what exactly could the government begin to do in that respect to start bridging the gap, or at least to start showing that, okay, do you know what, we're really, Buhari came in as on the anchor of, you know, I think he had those 6 things that he wanted to do, but one of them was fighting corruption, and effectively he started all right, but then it seemed like he lost the plot. So what is it that the government could begin to start doing, in our own perspective, that
You see,
start being a deterrent to people, as you clearly said?
first and foremost, they need to eliminate federal character from the recruitment of military and police personnel in Nigeria.
Okay, so
They
what
need
do you
to
mean
make
by
this.
federal character? Sorry.
Okay, there's a system in Nigeria they call federal character.
Okay.
You understand me? That they have to pick maybe 7 people from 7 people, you know,
Okay.
adequate representation of
Okay.
the nation in all these forms of in all these paramilitary and police force, military and the rest of it. You see, they need to first and foremost make these institutions appealing to good citizens. You understand me? I remember when I was growing up, you understand me? Because I grew up in mostly all parts of Nigeria, I was very, my national morale was very high. I loved Nigeria. I wanted to join the military. I wanted to go to MBA. You understand what I'm telling you? And unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity. And I think such opportunities should be available to people that are interested. You understand me? Because there's nothing as good as having satisfaction in everything that you are doing. You have a job satisfaction, you are working, whatever, you are satisfied with what you are doing. But unfortunately, what we have in Nigeria is we have a situation whereby the senators, the whatever, they will just pick people. Yeah, they will write your name, give it to IG. You go and join police force. You understand me? And in most cases, these are people that, in the first instance, are not interested in this job. They are not knowledgeable. You understand me? They are not educated for it. And we have people, look at military here. You can just go to the military recruitment offices and register yourself and you start the training. You understand me? But in Nigeria, it is restrictive and that is bad. They need to make all this whatever appealing to Nigerians. And by so doing, they can encourage people that are truly in love with the profession to come on board. That is number one. Number two, Nigerians are not adequately paid. You understand what I'm telling you? Nigerians are not adequately paid. A professor in Nigeria, maybe most senior professor, will earn about, let's say, 5 million a year. You understand me? And don't forget that from this 5,000, there's feeding, there's everything. That means, honestly, a professor, somebody that have worked to that level, cannot afford to build a house. And all this, you said something about justice, judges being corrupt. These are people that when they are in position, you give them houses maybe in Ikoyi, in GRAs. You understand me? But the salary you are paying them, they cannot afford to live in those houses after retirement.
Term of service, yeah.
So what do you want them to do? And these are people that you've given this life, they've tested it, you understand me? And even by their qualifications, they deserve to live in these places after retirement. But unfortunately, they cannot afford because they are not adequately paid. I think the only people that are adequately paid in Nigeria are the senators, members of House of Reps, and maybe if you know the minister and you are given some special position, like when this guy was the chairman of BP, was this short man's name, Nasiri Rufai,
Yeah.
that he was giving consultation jobs to people, and paying them millions of naira. Apart from that, people are not adequately paid. That is a big issue. It's not like you have mortgage that okay, these people can do this. It's not like you have amenities for them to cover them up when they are not in position to be active. It's not like you have unemployment benefits with them when they don't have a job. You understand me? And you expect them. You understand? Again, not even, and another issue is nepotism. You understand? We are in a country where people that are below you in all ramifications will be put on top of you to come and lead you, to come and be your boss. You understand me? And you know, it is put yourself in their situation.
Yeah, but that happens everywhere. Because even here, you can have someone who just who is a what do they call this, diploma MVQ holder, but hasn't got experience in the job. He comes and they put him at the helm of affairs in certain companies. So yeah, I think that happens everywhere. And then again, in terms, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, not like I'm disagreeing. In terms of adequate payment, it could be subjective, because in certain states, what you're getting paid is enough. So when we're talking about Lagos State, for instance, and areas of Lagos State, we know house prices are off the rocket, rent, transportation, and everything, electricity and everything, food in prime areas. But if we go to other states, like maybe Zamfara, and where they've instituted the minimum pay, and payments are coming adequately, regularly, the payments that they're getting is sufficient for that area. So when we're talking about adequate pay, sometimes it could be subjective to the region that people are working and are living in, because again, places like Ibadan or Yogun, certain rural areas, the payments that they're getting is sufficient for, because remember, labor is cheap in Nigeria. I think labor in Nigeria is
You see, Tony, hear yourself. Labor is cheap. Why is labor cheap? Because labor is underpaid. That is why labor is cheap.
no,
But let's leave that. Let me quickly respond to what you said about people here, this and that. Tony, there is no utopianism even in Ethiopia. You cannot find perfection in any system.
Yeah.
You understand me? There's corruption everywhere. I've said that. I'm not saying that anywhere is perfect. But you see the rate. When the rate is too high, you understand me? That is when it becomes problematic. And that is the problem with Nigeria. That is the issue.
But
with
there has
Nigeria.
to be a level. There has to be a level where there's a cap. Nigeria is a country of 200 million people. Majority of them are primitive minded. Majority, because the level of illiteracy is 60%.
It's very high.
When we're talking about labor being underpaid or labor, it's because the tools and the resources that again, my own perspective, the tools and the resources that are used in areas of these labors are primitive. They're still primitive tools. So you have to pay them with the payment has to match the tools. If someone is working is using modern tools, for instance, to effect an outcome to something that you want to look modern, then he would obviously deserve the wage. But you can't ask a carpenter who's putting nail in a koti, or using bamboo as scaffolding for the house, to be paid the same way as someone who is going to use irons. So the labor itself is primitive, and I think it's paid according to the service that they give. But obviously, when we talk about more modern jobs, or even so when we say labor if we look at something like event planning, and you've been in hotels, you've been a hoteler before, so I know in terms of hotel interior decoration, for instance, your labor was never cheap, and it was never underpaid. Your labor would have been charged at the Western rate, if not more, because the service that they're giving you is a Westernized service. However,
sir,
yes,
as an interior decorator, as an event planner, you are a contractor. You've been given a contract.
But
it is the people that you employ that are the laborers. And those are the people that are underpaid. You, as the contractor, you are fatly paid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, that now depends on where you want to strategically position yourself in terms of developing your own individual skills.
But you see, we should not leave people behind. Everybody cannot be.
But it's the country that allows it. You can't do that in the UK. You cannot.
But you see, that is, let me explain to you. You see, that is where the system is really bad, because there are event planners here. You understand me? Even as the contractors, they will adequately pay their laborers. So I want you to understand where I'm coming from.
I do.
You understand me? I think it is a nation of servitude. You understand me? Where if somebody wants to be boss over every other person. You understand me? You are in a position, you are the contractor now. You understand me? You are underpaying the people. You are going home with big check. You understand what I'm telling you? The other people are underpaid. Your contractors, your laborers are underpaid. And it is not your fault. That is the system on ground.
Exactly.
That is the system on ground. And that is why I'm saying that the nation needs to rearrange its wages system.
Okay, so but yeah, I totally agree with you. The system allows it. The system is left that corridor door open, and people are going to exploit it, whatever opportunity they have. Okay, let's so in terms of youths now coming in as let's as we said. A majority of the population, the young population in Nigeria, unemployed, and a lot of them illiterate. In terms of the generation of literate youths that we have, that are aspiring, that are tech savvy, that are construction savvy, fashion conscious savvy, have we got the capacity within those youths to rule a country as diverse as Nigeria?
Tony, it is the prerogative of every generation to rule. It is nobody is in any position to condemn any generation or to describe them as not capable to rule. And from what I've seen from our youth, I know they have the ability to rule Nigeria. I'm not in doubt in any way. You understand me? So I think, and even before, I think Nigeria would have been better if we had a young leader. When them go on, Obasanjo, Ojukwu, and the rest of them, when they started leading Nigeria, how old were they? I saw a video of them, Kaduna Zogu, you understand me, in their 20s, smoking marijuana, and acting like warlords. They were in their 20, between 27 and 32. Well, how old was Gowon when he became the head of state of Nigeria? You understand what I'm telling you? And these were not even people that were trained to become leaders. But one way or the other, they got to that place. So who am I, or who is in the position to condemn our youth and describe them as incapable of ruling, unless the person is
okay? So on that point then, and for the fact that for six decades, as you clearly said, the Inzegus, the Gowans, the Rossis, and all those leaders that's come through the ring, all of them started or took hold of the mantle of power when they were extremely young.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure which word I should use. Some of them are still, some of them still have a good influence on the mantle of power even now. So in terms of putting young people there, they're not. They're just putting their own, people. Okay, so prime example, people like Obasanjo and all these people, putting their own people there, putting their own people there. What is it that youths who don't, have the capacity of Godfather and all those things, but very interested in politics, could begin to do from now to start putting his first leg inside the door of, leadership, like in terms of trying to get to a stage of leadership in Nigeria?
You see, statistically, Nigerians between the age of 18 and 35 are like 60% of the population. You understand me? If these people cannot find a way to put themselves together and kick these people out, then there's nothing I can say. You see, let me tell you one thing. You know that our own generation is the most unfortunate.
Mm.
Do you agree with me or not?
Comme ça.
Okay, let me explain it to you. You understand me? When we were growing up, unfortunately, they told us we were the future of the country. You understand me? Meanwhile, the same people that were ruling us then are still ruling now. We didn't have the opportunity of social media.
Yeah.
We couldn't even play football.
Yeah.
Our parents will condemn us for doing that.
Yeah, it's true.
We couldn't go into music. You understand? But fortunately, the generation after, there are a lot of opportunities for them. They have a lot of opportunities, even though the political power is still far beyond them. But they have many other ways to consolidate and to console their laxities in other areas. You understand me? So I think the best thing for them is find a way to come together, maybe join a party, even if they cannot afford to float a party, join a party and start something. Because these people are not going to lose the mantle of power if they are not forced out one way or the other.
And the process of us seeing any form of young, dynamic leader in the realms of power, from the onset to the level where it gets accomplished or manifested, how long do you think they're looking at?
Another federal election is coming up. You understand me? You see, politics, they say, is the alternative to war. You understand me? They cannot afford to fight a war. But fortunately for them, there is an alternative, which is politics. I think they should not shy away from politics like people like myself. I'm so passionate about politics. I love politics. I would have loved to serve, you understand me? But unfortunately, I found that environment to be too toxic for me.
Okay, so in an environment as toxic as that, and unsincere, and where a youth is passionate about that, and he might even have a group of followers or he might have followership, or I don't know the words to use, of people who are edging him on to carry on like that. In an environment as such, and with such a representative putting himself forward, how is it that people could even begin to think of, okay, they're saying take PVC. How is it that people could even begin to think of securing their vote and making their vote count in an environment where corruption is pandemic, votes are rigged? Is PVC, in your own opinion, is it enough to sort of, as you said, that analogy, kick these current leaders out? Do you think voting alone is enough to be able to do that? And it's just a rough idea. It's not like
yeah. See, the fact is, this is not something that is going to happen overnight. You understand me? But I can assure you that votes are getting to be counted. You understand? They're getting to be effective. It is not perfect. It is not where it is supposed to be, but it is better than the way it was.
Okay, so Okay, and then again, with youth still being on that side, with youth being very sort of social media active and stuff like that, how do you think they could begin to use that as a tool to, which is really the question I wanted to start making their presence felt for this change that they
In that, with due respect, in that area, I'm a new fact compared to these guys. They are more savvy, you understand me, of the social media, so they should make use of it. They have a very good understanding of it. So,
okay, so in that respect, do you think that is, again, and I use that word, systematic oppression, that they're trying to introduce because they know, the government know in advance that, okay, this is an area that they could use to sort of sabotage all their plans to keep them in power? Do you think the government is systematically trying to use that social media bill to suppress all the activities that they use, or opportunities that they see lays out for the youths in changing government?
okay, you see, before we go to the issue of the bill, right, let me quickly go back to the issue of the youth. You see, what our youth, where they are making mistake is where they are abdicating their power, their political power, and they are, shifting it to these our so-called old politicians. You understand me? And how are they doing that? They are doing that by buying into the propaganda of maybe APC is better than PDP or PDP is better than APC. The truth of the matter is all these people are the same. You understand me? I know a lot of our youths that were ready to die for Buhari to be president of Nigeria because of because of the baloney that they were being sold. You understand what I'm telling you? What they need to do first and foremost is to liberate themselves politically. They don't need to be affiliated with any political party. Even if they are coming out under any political party, they must have strategized that, okay, this coming out of this party will be good for me politically, not because I believe what these people are telling me. They need to do that so that at least they can gain the political power. And now to talk about the bill, you see, there are a lot of misinformation flying around, and it is not healthy, really and truly, especially in a society where people are not. So I don't want to use any word that will be derogatory to my people. You understand what I'm telling you? But the fact remains that the majority of Nigerians are not educated. That is a fact that is indisputable. You understand? But still, misinformation is flying. You understand? And it is not good for any society, especially where people cannot
interpret.
People cannot be critical
check fact
about the kind of information that is being disseminated to them. But irrespective, I disagree with the bill.
I hear you. I think it's all part of any kind of technology that comes would have its pros and its cons, and fake news and the bad information that's it's always going to go, is always going to be part and package of the thing. But I think nevertheless you should look at the good of what the also put it this way, you look at the advantages more than the disadvantages. And when you begin to regulate it, especially again in a country like Nigeria, where anything could just be manipulated, constitution could be manipulated, who are the people who actually regulate the bill? Who's the people who determines that this is hate speech or what this is not? Who are the people? What measures or what's the criteria of you using to? Is it religious? Is it something you say religious? Is it defamation? Is it obscene language? Who, how? What are the boundaries? How is it defined? So I think it's a little bit, for me, and I think that they're just using it to silence people because Nigeria already is an oppressive regime in a way, even though it's sort of democratic, or it comes under the word democratic, but it's also oppressive, and that's just my opinion. So I think any form of regulation that can't be monitored or that can't be anchored on a proper definition and boundary would just be it would be problem for the people.
I understand where you're coming from. I think that the law, if any law is going to be implemented on that issue, it should be civil more than criminal. You understand? You come up with something that is not
those were the words. Yeah.
Factual, you can be sued, and whomever is suing you can claim damages. I think that would be better.
Okay, so again, and then just kind of trying to move swiftly because I've realized time we've beaten up some.
I've told you I'm all yours, boss.
We've beaten up some small time. Okay, so we were talking about the younger generation and the capacity for them to rule, and then obviously we spoke about the government, the current government, who have just been sort of recycled set of leaders that have just come off the back of one of another. And then there's that gap in between the young generation and the old generation, and the ability for them to connect together. So the question was, what can governments of the day begin to start doing, even if they want to start changing the narrative that we're ruling for by you, for you? What is it that they could begin to do, or the changes that they could begin to make to their way of leadership that could start to, you know, show a sign of connecting with this generation of people, younger generation of people, I should say?
I think they should start by recycling all these old politicians by giving them ministerial directorship, DG, whatever, DG of agencies and the rest of it positions. I think they should start by that. You understand? Look at the former minister of agriculture in Nigeria, you understand me? I think he was the same minister of education or whatever when they had the Alimo school. Yeah. You understand? Oh, he was no, he was not. He's been in government anyway for all I know. If you look at this Buhari's regime, especially the first cabinet, it was full of old people. You understand me? And I think they should first and foremost start by the recycling of old politicians with old ideas. Listen, you see what I know, you understand me, about computer and the rest of it. My little child of 10-year-old knows far more than I do. And this is a computer age. This is not analog age. So these people, you understand me, these people cannot lead us right, because their time is not more. Not that they're not that they died, they're still alive, but you know, mentally it is past their time. And I think any government that comes in now, even from the governor, and that is why I like the Oyo State cabinet now, it's full of young people. You understand? Some other cabinets, even in the north. I think they should start from there, you know, to start empowering these people. You understand? Even if you look at Lagos State cabinet, it's full of old people, recycling of people. These people should find something else. If you've served your people for 8 to 12 years, if you know, go and sit down. If you want to contest for something higher, but why are you being a commissioner for 12 years? Why? Are you the best? Are you that good? If you are that good, then we should feel your impact in whatever ministry you led.
Okay, but could it be that? So again, it goes back to that question I asked you, maybe about 3-4 questions again, about youth having the capacity to rule, and you said they should try and get rid of the old leaders and put in the put in and obviously bring new people to the fore through new political parties. But if most political appointments are by affiliation, how are they going to begin to take new people who relatively have no experience, who don't belong to their political party or their political caucus, and put them into
First and foremost, you misquoted me. I didn't say they should. It was an alternative that they should either form a political party or join the existing one.
Join the existing.
But what they need to do is to look for the avenue that is more opportunistic for them to get political power. If it is to form a political party, if it is to join the existing ones, just do something and try to get what you need to get.
So so again, and it's just sort of rounding it all up now. So when you increase by your association, so you join the political party that has an ideology. We spoke about this whole ideology a few questions back. And that ideology is bedridden or is bedrocked on, the orders of certain people, the direction they want the party to go. And you, being someone of integrity, comes in with your own different perspective or your own different ideology, but you're using this political party that you're joining as a platform for you to move forward. How is it that they're even going to consider you? Because you're not playing by their rules, or they could see inside of you that this person, he's not going to do what we say. How is it that that person could even, begin to get any kind of opportunities of being placed in certain areas? Because they actually put people there by, so prime example would be, and I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying, prime example would be Owolu and Ambody. We all know the process, the preliminary process stuff was sort of botched in a way for him to get the ticket for the governorship of Lagos State and then ultimately win. But if you're not playing by the rules, if you're not willing to be, corrupt, or if you're not willing to bend over as they want you to, is there any even chance that any youth would be able to get into power? Even by joining the party.
Tony, you see, politics is a game of number. You see where we get it wrong? Where we get it wrong is, you see, every politics is local. You understand what I'm telling you? There's somewhere in Shomolu area, I'm just using that as an example. There's somebody in Shomolu, there is a political leader, APC or PDP leader. He holds meeting in his house or in a venue, maybe once in a month or whatever. You see, this meeting are attended by his own selected people. You understand what I'm telling you? And it is the attendance, that congregation that he will take to his superior leaders. You see, when I say politics is local, from ward to wherever. That is why even if you are the president of the country, you still belong to the party in your ward. You understand me? Okay. You see, it is these people that he will take to his own leaders as, okay, my base. And it is bunch of them, avalanche of them like that the leader will take to his own leader as my base. You understand me? You see, if these young people really want to take over or want to be recognized, they need to start attending these meetings from the ward. When they get to the ward, this man that has been claiming leadership with maybe 50 people every week, you come there with maybe 60 people. Is either is ready to be overthrown peacefully, of course. Politics is, like I said, is the alternative to war. Is either is ready to be ready to step aside, or trust me, is going to start listening to them. And they have that number to do that. But unfortunately, our young people, you know, they've been so discouraged from politics because I can't really blame them. You understand me? Because there's no point to be aspiring for something that you believe is beyond your reach. We've been psychologically tutored like that, that power is beyond us. And that was what they did to us, and that is what they are doing to the younger ones. You understand me? But what they need to do is to assemble themselves just the way they did the EndSars and start from that. That is if they want to join a party or if they want to form their own, which I think is going to be very difficult for them to be able to do. You understand me? It is not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. So I think the best thing is for them to join parties and for them to join from the world level, to start going to the world meetings, and from there, they start changing the leadership. And when that starts to happen, it is an hierarchy thing. The leader on top will know that, oh, it is coming. And they will start listening to them.
Okay, so in terms of you spoke about EndSars. Now probably just 2 or 3 more questions. What do you think the youth could do to leverage on this EndSars thing? You know, the awareness it created. Do you think? And now, incidentally, it seems like it's being suppressed and swept under the carpet. Do you think the youth should continue to protest? Do you think they should continue to agitate, or do you think they should just all start galvanizing themselves together till 2023 when they want to make their voices really heard in a constitutional manner? Or do you think they should just continue, as you say, to, you know, look for little opportunities of where they're not comfortable and highlight their displeasure in those areas?
See, I think they've done very, very well until unfortunately the project was hijacked, whichever way. I think they've done very, very well, and I think they can really, really take advantage of what they've done by organizing themselves, which is most important. You understand me? But organization is very important. They are looking if they have people outside now that are doing propaganda for them. You understand me? Because I watched the DJ lady on CNN. I was so happy about what she was doing, and I know that if the youth back home can really, you know, work and improve on what she's doing, they can really, really make a big and major difference. So I think the best thing for them is to get organized.
So talking about that organization, in terms of them organizing, and then I know you, and honestly, this is like the last question. I know you said Nigerians, what they do, what the government does is to make us disenchanted, but not exactly in those ways. But I'm trying to find the right word to use. Just make us lose interest. That's it. Yeah, lose interest in our activity. So you organize yourself, you try and do something, but then the government comes at you with all these measures. They start picking the leaders off one by one, freezing accounts, getting police to arrest people, you know, giving people travel bans and stuff like that. In the face of all those challenges and those, you know, difficult uphill battles against, you know, a government that is just prepared to suppress you at any course, do you still think the only option is just to continue to persevere, or to say every man for himself, or I can't come and kill myself, I don't want to die, I don't want to die for nobody? Because ultimately lives will be lost, leaders will be suppressed, people, you know, Fela is a prime example where all he had to go through just because of the fight that he was fighting. And even up till now, we still see that some of his family still have to, you know, deal with the after effects of that battle. Do you think any youth in their right mind in Nigeria should carry on, you know, with this agitation to see better governance in Nigeria. Showore is another one, you know, that tried to be rebellious at one stage, you know, even though he even did it through a democratic process, but you know, there's still no respect for him. What do you see on that?
You see, as it is, I've passed a stage that the issue of Nigeria is a major concern to me. Being and truly, you know, I'm being very frank. You understand me? But that does not, and that should not stop me from, you know, speaking to the youth about what they can do or what they should do. You understand me? In as much as I understand that Nigeria, you know, there was somebody that gave me an analogy that, you see, dying for Nigeria is like setting yourself ablaze to illuminate the way for blind people. because
Somebody
people are not going to be
somebody has to do it.
But thank you. Thank you. So what I can say is, you see, it is their time, it is their generation, and I think what they need to do is to make sure that they get it right. But unfortunately, you understand me. You see, the issue of Nigeria, like I said, is very concerning, because in as much as the youth in the south, you understand me, are thinking one way, don't forget that the youth in the north are not thinking like that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. The youth in the north are not thinking like that. So, but still, I think they should continue. They've done very well with EndSars. They should continue, and I believe that at the end of the day, they will prevail.
Amen. We would all prevail.
Amen.
Mr. Abiodun Odukoya, I've taken up too much of your time. It's been
all right, boss.
It's been too exciting, too insightful. I really love your perspective and the way you've broken down certain things, politics, for instance, your perspective on governance, leadership, the change that we desire in Nigeria, which obviously is going to come at a high price, but it would come at some stage. You know, your notions of how youths could start the process of, you know, engaging themselves in leadership, joining. Incidentally, somebody came and said the same thing you said. You have to have a structure and you have to have a platform to get in there. The structure is working through a platform, because a platform already, an existing platform, an existing political party already has a platform, and then they have a structure that you go through in there. So find your way into there, which is obviously joining an existing political party, and then work yourself up the hierarchy there. So yeah, it's really been a pleasure to have you on. I'm going to go and digest most of these things because, as I said, at every stage, someone is superior to me. I learn every day. And again, this is not only for me to learn, but for other viewers, other people who are watching also to learn and to see perspective of people who are not necessarily politicians, you know, but who have the mindset and a passion for a better country and a better Nigeria. And most importantly, you know, us having a country where we could be proud of, and we could, you know, we could send our children. Right now, none of us want to send our children none of us want to send our children back home at this precise moment,
Unfortunately,
exactly. But it could be better. So just before we do the shout outs, I'm going to ask you currently, if people do need to contact you, is there any platforms, websites, and then you could talk a little bit about your current business, because I see the logo ABA Rollins there. You can tell us about, you know, what you're currently up to now and how people could get in touch. Instagram page, website, telephone number if need be, and anything else you want to mention.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tony. Thank you very, very much for the opportunity you have given me. Thank you for the mind rubbing. I really appreciate it, and thank you for working on my brain. Okay, I'm more known with my clothing line, AB Rollins, but I actually have one or two other businesses that I'm as seriously active in as the clothing line. The first one is Boutique Decor Limited. In Boutique Decor, what we do is we do exotic doors, bulletproof doors. So if you are building a house in Nigeria, you want bulletproof doors, you want good doors, interior, exterior, security, steel, fireproof, burglary proof, bullet resistant, and the rest of it. We do those ones. Our office is in City Mall, Oniko, third floor, 16th, suite 16. And I also do construction, KPDY construction. We build houses.
Sorry, could you repeat the names slowly? We had the boutique decor, but the construction bit.
Okay, the second one is KPDY Constructions.
Okay.
Yeah, we do constructions, and the one that I'm more known with is AB Rollins. AB Rollins is a clothing line. We are in London, we are in Lagos, and we are in Istanbul. So our shop in Lagos is also in City Mall, second floor, suite 3B, I believe. And our shop in London is 236 Edgware Road. And that is where I'm speaking from today. We do clothing, we do bespoke, we have a mini factory, we work with other designers, with other brands to produce for them. So I don't know if I can show you around a little bit.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please do.
Okay.
Just find AB Rollins, the clothing line. Is it English, Nigerian? What kind of clothes does AB Rollins? I know.
Yeah, AB Rollins, you know, like because we do bespoke, you understand me? So we do all kind of clothes.
Okay.
We do for all kind of people. It depends. We do casuals, we do suits, we do weddings, we do everything. Like I said, we have a mini factory where we produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you go around, just talk us through what we're looking at.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. This is like our production area. This is an embroidery machine. We do embroidery with this, you know, logos and the rest of it. This is the button roller. We have all kind of machines for everything. You understand me? All this, we have about 10 machines and they all do different things. None of them is alike. They're all different machines.
Excellent. So could you show us some of the? I see some clothes hanging there. Could you show us just maybe one or two of them and tell us what they are and how they relate to what you make? Maybe one of those suits with the military badge on there. I saw some military badges there.
Oh no, they are not military. They are our logo. Okay. Rollins. You see all the stuff you see here are just one or two pieces made specially for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if people wanted one of those things, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can go on our website, www.abrollins.co.uk, or Shopify. I think it's the same address on Shopify.
I see hats there. Do you do hats as well?
Yeah, we do everything. Like clothing line.
Okay. So could you just focus on some of the logos of your stuff so that people could know when they see it, they could identify that this is it? Excellent. Excellent. And then in terms of the bespoke on your website, and if they need to do measurements, how do they get the measurements across?
Actually, if they can tell us the sizes, we are coming up with a technology that can actually take their sizes on the website.
Okay.
But we are not done with that yet. They are trying to incorporate it on the website, but it is not done yet. But in the interim, what they can do is, if they can tell us the sizes of their jeans, you understand me, and their shirt neck, we can work with that. Or they can ask their tailors to take a measurement, send it to us, we can still work with that also.
And then are your stuff seasonal? Like, do you do different collection for different seasons and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be coming out with our what's it called, autumn season. We're having winter. We're in winter now, so most of our products are winter products.
Okay. And then finally, the board at the back, could they just see so that the address could come up, and when we, if you could just focus on that, so they could see the different things you do, because I see you've got the list of what you do there.
Okay, let me.
Right. So it's bespoke wedding,
Uniforms,
group parties, personal shopping,
suit rentals,
and then you can scroll to the other side.
alterations, shirts, suit, accessories, costumes, dresses.
Excellent. So you do dresses as well. That's one bit that we left out for our ladies.
We do everything.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Extremely well done. We're ready, and then
thank you, boys.
I'm going to send my measurements in, and then
please do a size.
Up is better fixed.
You've been my boss for a long time, and my loyalty is still intact.
God is our boss. But Mr. Odukoya, it's been such a pleasure having you on. I want to thank you once again for joining in. You spoke very eloquently about every area that we could be seeking insight from. Even though Nigeria's situation is more than we could talk about in like 2.5 hours that we've been online, I think you've managed to cover very well areas which is more pressing to many of us, and we just pray that these words that we share someday would hit someone with the right senses, and they would do the right things. They would do the right things for our nation.
Amen. I pray so. We don't have any other nation but that.
Exactly. We don't have no
I'm telling you.
nations. So what I finally do is shout outs, because I know you would have had some people here. So if you could see the comments, you might just want to say thanks to, if you scroll through them, you might want to see. I know that there was
this is not Abiodun, but the first name I'm saying is my very, very, very good friend, Femi Ajayi. Big shout out to you, bro. One love all the time, man. Love and respect. Shole, you too, man. Wale Law, connection from Canada. Yeah, I greet you, my brother. I have a lot of my people here. My architect is a guru, the good critics. I think you should follow him. If you want to build a house in Nigeria, please get in touch with Tunde. His name is good. His name on Instagram is Good Critic. You can check him out and vouch for him. You'll be impressed. Shole, I greet you, my friend.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So, go on. Yeah. I saw Olu here as well.
Yeah, I saw him earlier. My honorable. Yeah. My distinguished honorable.
Distinguished.
That is the man the only man that can make me to get back to Nigeria when he becomes the senator.
Yeah. Yeti Roberts.
Barrister.
Barrister, exactly. Barrister, Yeti Roberts. I keep forgetting. Yeah. Eloho. Big Joe was here. He
Yeah, Big Joe. Enough respect, man.
made a lot
Enough
of
respect,
comments.
bro.
Yeah, we really appreciate
Yeah.
you. Nikki,
I appreciate you all, man.
yeah, her Akinpade, and then I think the
My own boy from Germany.
okay.
I greet you too.
Yeah, one love. Storm was on the show last week with his dad. So big shout out to
Think Ping.
Yeah.
That is my daughter from USA, formerly from Accra.
Yeah.
Princess, how you doing, man?
Nah. Then Natty was on.
Natty, Twale.
Yes,
Twale, Natty. No love and respect, bro.
Yes, and then on
yeah, and Luciana from Italy. I greet you too.
Yes, sir.
Taufik, Omo Baba. Honorable, future governor of Ogun State.
Oh yeah. That's good. That's good.
No, it's too many people, man. Love and respect to each and every one of you.
Exactly.
Tony, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm very grateful to talk about Nigeria at any time. And you know I'm your boy. So you beckon, you see me.
You're definitely coming back again. So
please, I'm looking forward.
Thank you ever so much, and have
a
fantastic weekend, everyone. Until we see you again next time. Good night and God bless. Peace.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks. Yeah.